I truly believe that most could not understand unless they've suffered extreme trauma and loss. They could not understand the void or what I'm referring to. And I have a suspicion that you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the place that grief pulls you, or trauma or shock. They pull the ground out from underneath you. You're breathing technically, but in most ways, you're not alive. The infrastructure I once knew it was instantly destroyed. My full infrastructure. What made me up as a person. What, you know what I mean. The void is a persistent, overwhelming sense of being disconnected from life. The void, it's become much like brushing my teeth. Eating has become like brushing my teeth, if that makes any sense. It's something I have to do. Very little taste. The void allows you to live and function within the world, go out and work a job, see your family, essentially function within the world, even though you are overwhelmingly disconnected or have the feeling of being disconnected from everything else. Friends and family, they meet you with those eyes, those silent eyes that aren't that silent. Isn't it about time you moved on? That's what the eyes are saying. They're now strangers. Friends and family can be strangers. You can't relate to them any longer. They can't relate to you. Birthdays, holidays, seasons, children being born. These are all part of life, and grief may go on, but these continue. You sit back and you watch life go on. Life goes on regardless of what your soul is living through. Life goes on in many ways you don't. The void, it's a place you don't choose. It's a place that grief and trauma, they pull you into it. It's a persistent force, a force you're not even aware of in many ways. That void, it's like you're moving, but you're not really living. Your mind is always foggy and confused. Your body is heavy, and everything feels like it's far away, including yourself. I lived in this space, longer than I ever expected, and certainly longer than I wanted. I didn't have the words, I didn't have the direction, I didn't have a map to show me how to keep going. My mind was so tired. My body was so tired. But you know what? You can't live. You can't live in this place forever, right? Not if some part of you still wants to survive, right? I hope you're all still with me. I'm going to talk about maybe I'm going to say 8 months, the last 6 months of my life. But after a while, something started developing within me. It was not a thought that I actually heard or could, take action upon. It was just something back there. And go with me on this. I'm going to describe it. But I just, it's hard to explain. But in a way, I had the realization that I couldn't stay in this darkness, this void forever. Going through the motions of living, I just couldn't keep doing it. I also had a voice that was saying, Gail, actually you can. You've got people that love you. You have a house over your head. You've got you have much to be thankful for. And at first that sounded really convincing, but I realized I realized that essentially I found myself justifying, the things that I had: a roof over my head, family should be enough. And I was like justifying, nothing, no additional harm has come to you, be thankful for what you have. And part of me is like, I'm justifying, how I'm feeling. And hey honey, come on. You want to come on? This is my Come on. You want to come up? Show everybody who you are. I'll show you another picture, but that's my dog, Taka. She is my daughter, and she is my heart. She also gave me a black eye, which you can see I'm trying to cover up with makeup. No, honey, get down. Um, it was, in that moment that something, as if something clicked. It's like there's a glimmer of realization, almost like a conflicting convergence of the thought of, you're doing fine. You're doing fine, gal. And I also knew that I wasn't, right? And it was at that moment that, and I know this is really hard to comprehend. You don't know me, but I want you to try and hang in there with me. But it was at that moment that a fork in the road somewhat appeared. I started realizing this. I started realizing that the mere internal acknowledgement that I did not want to live my life out this way, functioning within the void, some part of me just knows that there's got to be more, right? It doesn't negate my pain. It doesn't negate what I've been through, but there's got to be more, right? And this was huge. It was huge for me. And you'd have to understand, I'm at 6 years September, but this revelation was huge for me. And you know what else it was? It was a bit unsettling. It's unsettling because it made me realize that slipping into this void and living within this space had almost become, it had become, has become my safe place. Of course, I'm protecting it. It's my safe place, right? Getting through life. But for the first time, I had a feeling. I had a feeling that there had to be more, right? Michael's gone, but there had to be more, right? My heartache, my pain will always be here. But it was in that moment that I had my Phoenix spark. You got to go with me on this, but as well, I know I keep saying that, but it was in that moment I realized I needed to step up. I needed to do something tangible. I needed to do something larger than myself, larger than my pain. I started to realize that possibly my pain could be the beacon that fueled me, it led me, will lead me out of this. I started to realize that my pain could possibly be